Well, day 2, and I've run completely out of Ira Glass intros. I have to try to think of some while I'm driving. Heading back up to the Scottish Festival for the second day of competitions. Bringing my extended range chanter, Benjamin Elzerman, who was on the show in episode 99, if you don't recall. He is a 3D printing, designing whiz. He's made that amazing super low A1 drone and makes his own reeds for him too, by the way. Impressive reed work too. I know he's been working on some of that phase locking stuff as well. He's been helping me with some reiterations of the extended range chanter, hopefully going to turn into something here soon. But I've just got the old standby, the mutilated, I don't remember now actually if it's a Gibson or a Warnock that I landed on. Well, I've been messing around with I don't know, maybe so the extended range chanter, if you happen to not know, is this idea that I kind of accidentally stumbled into, mostly because of listening to Jeremy Kingsbury on the Way Too Twags Bagpipe and History podcast, and his chat with Barry Shears in particular. Actually, that's why it came to mind while I was talking to Barry Shears yesterday about pinching up to high B on your standard Highland bagpipe chanter. And when they were talking in the interview that Barry did that Jeremy did with Barry, they were talking about some chanters that have popped up here and there that seem to have been manufactured even with a little notch in the high A hole for your thumb to pop into, kind of quick and easy, find the spot to do that pinching up to get the high B and maybe beyond as well, And so I kept trying to get the high B to happen consistently and was having a real hard time of it. I still don't know if it's just that I didn't dedicate enough time, didn't possess the touch, or if maybe it has something to do with the altitude where I live. I'm not sure, but between that and looking at Galician gaitas that have the octave hole, and actually I've since joined the Dronehenge Facebook group, and I think it was Arl on there who, oh man, I hope I'm saying his name right. It's a unique name. I think it was him who helped me actually originally to figure out that what I was working on wasn't a flea hole. I'd been calling it a flea hole because I was looking at Donald Lindsay system chanter, and it's got some flea holes on it. So I thought what I was trying to do was turn the high A tone hole into a flea hole, and I think it was Arl who helped me understand that it's not a flea hole, it's a register hole. But that's kind of like what the Galician gaita chanter uses there to hop octaves, if I'm not mistaken. I don't play gaita yet, hopefully someday. But he helped me understand that, and so anyway, basically originally all I did was take tape, and if you can imagine with that high A hole, using tape to kind of close that hole in from multiple sides, right? So like usually we use tape to tune a tone hole down to make that note more and more flat. So I put a strip of tape across the top, but also a strip of tape across the bottom, and a strip of tape on the left and a strip of tape on the right, and it made the hole just into a tiny little hole. And as I was experimenting with that, I found that I could then just uncover that hole completely and not have to use my thumb to pinch it into a smaller shape or size. It just already was a smaller size. And so then, usually you'd play high A like you normally would, with your back thumb off the chanter and your front 2 fingers off the front of the chanter as well, right? And then you'd pinch that high A hole into a tiny hole, and on the front of the chanter it would look like you were playing low B, but what would come out would be high B. So basically, by taping that hole down into a teensy tiny hole, it made it so that hole is always pinched, if that's a sensible way to put it. And so then it's like, well, that's great for your high B, but how do you get high A? You just actually play low A on the front of the chanter. Maybe this is really boring. I'm unsure how much these things that I might be talking about make sense because of continuity in my own head, but maybe it's coming out of nowhere as you're listening to this. So that is the extended range chanter, basically. I found that if I kind of shifted how far in the tape came from one side versus the other, that tiny hole could kind of be coordinated up or down or left or right around within the space of the normal high A hole. And as I found that it did better in terms of keeping the second octave in tune, the higher up in the hole space I got, then I started drilling new holes in the chanter, up and up and up, and eventually got like up onto the bulb of the chanter, even trying to do it at an angle so I could kind of get that chimney effect, so that the hole would come through up even higher underneath the chanter reed. And then while messing with that, so I mutilated a few chanters. I had a few chanters kicking around in my office, and just kind of experimented with one and experimented with the next. And a few people, first among them being Benjamin Elserman, were brave enough to be willing to send me old chanters of their own and cover shipping and everything, so that I could just mutilate their chanters, so that then they could also experiment with this idea. And what I've landed on so far anyway is with a high A octave hole, register hole, instead of a tone hole. And then a C natural hole drilled into the back of the chanter for your lower hand thumb to control. And then the F sharp hole, the one that your top hand middle finger usually would be covering, I kind of just split that into two smaller holes. Kind of looking at recorders for inspiration there. So if you can kind of just use your one whole finger and cover it or uncover it still just like normal, and you're still going to get an F sharp. But if you use the point of your finger, you can cover just one of those two holes. See, they're set really close together, and then you get an F natural. That's the idea. And so that's the whole chanter, and I've found that with the setup right, with a reed that's easy enough, actually I've had some good success with synthetic reeds too, though it takes a long time to get them set. Once they're set, they seem to do a good job. It can consistently get not just high B, but also high C natural, because of the C natural hole on the back, and high C sharp, and high D. Sometimes I can kind of get a high E even, but that is getting pretty wild up there, especially trying to keep stuff in tune. And the higher you go, the more you have to overblow, and so the drone reeds, I have to open up a little extra to make it so they can handle it. And well, anyway, I'm so happy to just talk freely about this. I'm very much inspired by Donald Lindsay and him, keep deciding to keep the sort of the design ideas of the Lindsay system chanter open, because I'm into what he expressed. I think makes a lot of sense, that like as a, I'm not calling myself an instrument maker here. I'm not being presumptuous like that, but just like if I'm hoping that other pipers will like give of their time and energy to try this system out, that's an ask that I'm making of them, and it can feel the other way around, of course, because like I hadn't thought of it that way before, because I have always been the consumer paying the maker to get their thing, and so respecting their artisanship and stuff like that, I always felt more like I was asking them for something. And I feel like he presented it in an interesting way from this position of kind of iterating on a chanter and hoping other people will try it, that there's a relationship there where I'm asking other people to give their time and effort to this thing, to give it a chance. And so then if I keep it under tight lock and key, and kind of like try to control everything about it, every unit that goes out into the world must pass through my hands first, that kind of thing, I might unnecessarily impede its growth potential, and it'll just die with me, And maybe it won't catch on, but I've had a lot of fun with it, and I really think that there probably are a lot of pipers for whom it'll have no appeal, but there are probably a lot for whom it'll be a lot of fun. Because the thing is, one of the main sort of like guiding things for me throughout has been, I realized that the mic was a little hot. I wonder if I can take the levels down a bit, if that'll get more pleasant. One of the guiding things for me throughout, or one of the like goals, has been to keep standard Highland bagpipe fingering as much as possible, and to not require like key work on the chanter. And part of that is just practicality of making it. I'm trying to think to myself, can I 3D print this design? And also, can traditional methods of making a chanter, like on a lathe, be applied to this design, without a whole lot of extra, like, because my hope is that other makers will want to use this design to make their own versions of it, and I don't want them to have to invest in a whole new system of tooling and stuff like that, So anyway, my hope is that by being totally open about it, like if anybody else wants to iterate on this, feel free to, of course, I'm working with Benjamin right now to really hopefully really zero in on an exact design that will consistently, produce the right kinds of sounds. And then with that design, my hope is to be able to sort of get any maker who's interested into it, and any maker wants to make it can make it out of whatever materials they want, make it fancy, make it plain, however they please, and that's that, something like that. We'll see, but anyway, I'd rather just be totally open about it and get other people excited about it than like try to hide it as if it were a secret, and especially because it doesn't feel at all like it would be fair to hide it like it's a secret. Like I just was saying, I didn't even think of the idea if it hadn't been, I wouldn't have thought of the idea if it hadn't been for Jeremy experimenting with pinching up to high B and wanting to do that, and then hearing him and Barry talk about the makers who have clearly like designed their chanters for that to happen in the past, and looking at the Galician gaita. I mean, who invented the gaita? It's just like this whole instrument, and then people like Arl chiming in on Drone Hinge and stuff like that, and how much, and Davey over at 3D Printed Bagpipes was helping me with some early iterations, and how much Benjamin's skill set is everything that I lack, and he's making my dreams come true in so many ways with his abilities. It's not my thing anyway, and so anyway, all that just to say, that's why I thought of it yesterday while we were talking. Barry was showing me, showing the whole group there, the high B key on his small pipe chanter, and talking about how valuable that is. And I was thinking about that interview, so when I was chatting with him afterward, I said, oh, maybe I could bring you this chanter to show it to you and see what you think. So hoping to show that to him today. And listening to Lass again today with Bridget Campbell and Steve Burns, not going to forget his name this time, and Ross Ainsley, because yesterday Barry was playing, and he has a small pipe chanter with the two tone holes down below low G, and he was playing a tune where he'd pinch it between his knees to get a low F sharp. And I was like, oh, that's really fun. How cool. He's doing a great job with it, And I was like, have you heard that Badger and the Weasel set that Bridget Campbell wrote? And he was like, oh, I haven't heard that. And I was just amazed that he hadn't heard that, And so I'm going to take him my copy, and I'll just get a new copy. But I was kind of pleased when I checked that I had the case for it here in the car, and the CD as well, because it's a little beat up, kind of ripped and stuff. That's because it's gone in and out of the case so many times, it's showing signs of being loved, and that seems nice. Anyway, gonna take that to him. I circled track 3 on the back to help him remember which one to listen to. I think he's gonna love it, and the whole album. What a great album. Anyway, so on my way now to day 2 of the games. Gonna do some more announcing work. Gonna try to capture more bands for the Big Rab show. Here's hoping that the tripod will do its job there. Gonna hopefully catch Barry Shears for a few minutes again to I guess to glean validation from the celebrity piper. Be like, here's the thing I'm working on. Will you tell me it's good? Maybe that's really what's happening in my head here under the surface, the subconscious motivations. And plant an awesome album on this awesome piper. I don't in any way think that he's like being negligent for not knowing the Badger and the Weasel set. Everybody's busy and got stuff going on. I'm just pleased that I get to play this little part of being the conduit by which he's going to come into possession of this album that I think is that album surely improves the lives of anyone who comes into contact with it. So that'll be fun. Well, let's see, montage time. All right, have arrived, and today is just not looking as busy here today, and I'm freaking parallel parking like a dad, just killing it here. Found a spot like right outside the entrance to the parking lot, so like really just as good as paid parking, but for free. And I'm pretty sure I managed to get parked right behind Alex Kelly's truck. The one which, it was early in the show. One of the earliest episodes, they interviewed Al. And I think this is his truck. It's a Piper's truck anyway, because there's a sticker on the back that says Live, Breathe, Bagpipes. But this is the truck that in his interview we learned has had a single Tool album stuck in the CD player since the day he bought the truck. It's never come out of the CD player. It's just always been there, and that's what he listens to when he's driving. I think that's this truck. Anyway, taking out the last album now so I can take it in with me to plant on old Barry Shears, because I am here to preach the good word of Bridger Campbell and friends. So here's hoping this goes well and we get a new convert out of old Barry himself here. I always have to do this silly little dance around the outside of my car because my keys only work to the remote on them only work to unlock the doors. It doesn't work anymore to lock them. I can't get a clone of the keys made. Taking it back to finding a dealership to take it to is silly spendy. So I'm just making do, but it does make for a little bit of a funny 3 or 4 door open close kind of pirouette for me here. Pirouette, I think that has to do with doing circles in dance. That's why it feels appropriate to use that word. Nothing like recording yourself to make you question every single word you ever use. Alright. Yesterday I was pleasantly surprised to find how many people asked me about the shirt I was wearing. It was the design from bagpipeswag.com that I call Bones. That's just like a set of Highland pipes made out of skeleton parts. Like there's a rib cage for the bag, and then some femurs for the tenor drones, and it's actually a small femur for the chanter. I actually just used one of the femurs from the tenor drones and flipped it over and made it smaller and put some holes on it for the chanter, and then the 2 joints of an arm for the bass drone with a little skeleton hand at the top doing the rock and roll symbol, because I'm cool. Oh crap, I left my wristband to get in back of the car. Anyway, I was pleased at how many people asked me about it, and it made me think, geez, maybe I'm not advertising enough. Bagpipeswag.com. So here's my little ad. Bagpipeswag.com for all your cool bagpipey and drummy shirts and stuff like that. Also to sell merch for your pipe band. That's another thing that I do over there. So if you want to see some cool stuff and buy some cool stuff to look cool wearing and using, bagpipeswag.com. You want to sell merch for your band, make some money from it, bagpipeswag.com. So anyway, I'm wearing another Bagpipe Swag shirt today, doing the ampersand design. See if it's appealing to anybody. If not, that's okay. My wife likes it. It was actually her design, so I like it, she likes it, and my mom says I'm cool, so everything will be okay. Do the pirouette again here. There's a skate park next to the fairgrounds where the Scottish Festival's happening. There's some kind of like kids group over there. Holy moly. Some of these kids can't be older than like 6 years old. And they're dropping into this half pipe. It's probably like 8 or 10 feet tall on the side there. Man, someday I might be cool as that 6-year-old kid over there. Maybe. Someday. We got some caber toss going on over here. Ooh. That's a big one. Am I talking about the athlete or am I talking about the caber? You don't know. Probably both. That was a pretty good one. Landed like 1 o'clock. They had the caber. That caber was named Princess. So it's still pretty warm today, but it's kind of breezy. I wonder if it'll make for a worse recording, but it's sure making for a pleasant lived experience.
No. So profusely, no. He does not.
I just walked down the aisle of clan tents. Cute, seeing a bunch of little kids learning. Somebody explained, like, this is Latin, little kids copying the clan mottos down and learning how to spin wool into yarn and stuff. Cute. Here we go. Getting over to the competition area now, seeing some tender drummers killing it, flourishing like pros. It's a good day. Fresca. Let's see if I can plug into entertainment while he's eating or something. Barry, can I plug you about a whole bunch of stuff while you're trying to eat and take care of business?
I can't remember what the thing was, so trust me. Okay.
I've already got resume. This is the last album that Bridget Campbell and Ross Ainsley did.
Oh yeah.
I tried to circle Trick Track 3 because that's the one that they use the low F sharp up on top.
Oh really?
It's a really cool set. I thought you'd enjoy it. I'll get another copy.
No. Oh yeah. That was pretty sad. But that was the saddest moment. The saddest moment was yesterday after Van asked, and I got on the microphone and announced the winners. And everybody was standing against this wall that there was one person that was staring at me while I was talking to you. No. But when I got done, the person was looking at me and walked off.
It's a beautiful scene for me.
So we're going to announce the winners. And I was building up the grade 2 band. And for the grade 2 Wasatch District, drum roll, please. No, somebody was doing the drum roll. Well, the person would be able to do it. No. Just sat there staring. Just like, it's always been like this. It will always Pretty rough. So where do you live? So it's in our house. And I had Leland come over, but he couldn't figure it out. Yeah. He said something about a circuit board. So then, 2 nights ago, it was 84 degrees in the bedroom. And I didn't sleep at all. So then, my mother-in-law bought us one of those standing things that you put the big hose on. Cooled it down to 68 last night. I went to bed at 9. Beautiful. I love my mother-in-law. So, anything else about the good things that happened this week? Like, right. So, where's Moyer? Hey, James, 8 minutes.
Well, I don't know how much of it would have been audible. I was trying to make a recording, but from across the room, but I did it, guys. I played the extended range chanter for Barry Shears. And as we were talking, he was talking about how he used to play, because one of the examples I played for him was Danny Boy, being able to do it with the the high B and then to do a key change even. He was talking about how when he was in school, he'd get out early to go play funerals for like military funerals, making $5 a pop, and how they'd ask him to play Danny Boy and he'd try to fold it in. It didn't work very well, and then he told me about how he was folding up fiddle tunes to get him to fix, and when he found them in was it David Ross, I think he said, he felt validated when he found that in the David Ross manuscripts. I think it was David Ross. I could be remembering wrong now. My nerves were on edge. But he just said that he considered that validation of the idea. And I just thought it was funny because I think that, yeah, that's really why I was doing this, trying to get him to... I interrupted his lunch and was like, will you listen to my chanter? He's just being really gracious with his time, really. I was just looking for validation. but he's nice about it. And... So now I'm on a real emotional high going into the announcing here. Found a good spot to set up a tripod for the footage, right under a tree.
Move Utah pipe band to the line. Kirkle, Kerda, Irish pipes and drums in the solid blue kilts to final tune.
I'm trying to put faces. I'm trying to go through all of the faces of the teachers who I knew now.
That's CIORCAL.
Just like it sounds. Not at all.
I remember somebody calling him the charcoal. Charcoal Kerda band.
The Utah Pipe Band was formed in 1937. They recently represented the state of Utah at the 80th commemoration of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The band is wearing the ancient Barclay hunting tartan, and their grade 5 group that will be stepping up to the line here shortly is led by their pipe major Steve Taylor, their pipe sergeant Erica Swenson, and their drum sergeant Brady Woodward. They'll be playing their MSM for us today, which will consist of the tunes Gardens of Sky, Sugan, and the Athol Highlanders.
Sugan, again. How many times can I listen to Sugan?
I bet you'll be listening to the Celtic women singing it on the way home today.
That's right.
You won't have had enough.
I made it. You made it. Yeah, you like that? I do. Yeah, that's one of my many side projects is a bagpipe inspired clothing brand called Bagpipe Swag. Bagpipe Swag. So I've got a bunch of my own designs there, but then I also sell merch for pipe bands as well. So it's like print on demand, so the band doesn't have to keep boxes and boxes or some collage or something, you know. So is it silk screened or most? Yeah, there's embroidery as well, but yeah, it's well, actually some of it is direct to garment printing as well, but yeah, most of it is silk screen printing.
yeah, the one's just ahead. I know that they've I've seen them do it before for kids who are learning.
Okay.
But I wonder if it's also useful for anybody with like a hurt back or something. Probably not nearly as heavy. Because they still can put, the one round of snares on it, so it still makes some noise.
They're not going to do
The Utah Pipe Band, ladies and gentlemen. That was their grade 5 group playing their MSM for us. Coming up to the line next, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Circle Cerda Irish Pipes and Drums. They've traveled to be with us here today, and we're really glad because they play great music, Irish and otherwise. Their unique, solid-colored kilts make them stand out in the crowd. The blue of their kilts that they're wearing today has been referred to as Presidential Standard Blue. And they are truly a circle of friends. Coming to play another MSM set for us. That's going to be a march, followed by a slow march, and finishing up with another march. The Circle Cerda Irish Pipes and Drums.
Does Circle Cerda mean circle of friends?
Yeah. There you go.
Actually, I hadn't even thought of that connection. That makes a lot of sense, though.
I mean, I figured maybe.
What are you putting 2 and 2 together, man? Jeez. I had not thought of that. What a good point. I mean, it's even spelled kind of like circle. Circle Cerda. Yeah.
Circle.
It's that
Circle.
That's gonna make it. That's gonna make it way easier to remember how to pronounce it. That was really brilliant.
Circle.
Where were you yesterday? I was really struggling.
I was on my B game yesterday.
And it makes the tagline make so much more sense now too. Truly a circle of friends.
Truly.
Circle Cerda, truly a circle of friends. That makes so much sense. It all makes sense now. Well, I got to catch Barry Shears again to tell him my pet theory. He's working on another book or two about the Gaelic language and its influences into Canada and the United States. Modern English parlance. Parlance, is that the word? Gosh, really makes you think when you're recording yourself. Language, I guess, is what I mean. Speech, conversation, lexicon, vocabulary. Anyway, my theory that I was pitching to him is that there's this Gaelic word that I can't pronounce. I think it's pitig, maybe? It's usually spelled B-I-O-D-A-G. I learned it from a good friend, your friend of mine, John Charles's awesome Gaelic learning game that you might get to learn about someday, but I'm extra cool, so I got to find out about it exclusively early, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, because it is pretty awesome. If you ever find out about it, you will know what I mean. It's so awesome. But it's a word that means it's like a dirk, like a knife. So if it's rendered B-I-O-D-A-G, that got me thinking about a local word here in Utah and some of the nearby areas, which is bow-daggit. There's a whole lot of streams that have to come together to make this work. So bow-daggit, it's not unlike a dingleberry. There's an old word, dag, that
comes into the English that gets spoken around these parts, I guess, via maybe Scottish English, maybe Scots, maybe just English or Wales, I don't know. Somewhere over there, some people who came over here were using the word dag to refer to like the sort of woolly, clumped up flaps of matted wool that sometimes end up gathering around the hindquarters of a sheep. And, you know, dingleberries will be a part of that, of course. And so then around here you use the word bowdagget to refer to, I'm not super clear on it, I think it kind of can be both or all together. The dingleberries themselves and the flaps of fur, just that stuff back there. A wonderful example of this term being used comes from the famous movie Napoleon Dynamite, when Uncle Rico is like a bowdagget, clinging to Napoleon from behind, got him in like a headlock after Napoleon had thrown, I think it was a cantaloupe, at Uncle Rico's van, and Napoleon cries out, "Get off of me, you bowdagget," or "you stupid bowdagget," one or the other. So my theory is that you got the dags being conveniently removed if you have a pittock, or you know, that Gaelic word for knife. If you have one of those, it might be a really convenient way to get those off. You could say you are pittogging them, or pittoggit, or bowdagget. That's my theory, so I pitched it to him. Told him if he needs some help rounding out this next book, I'll be available to be a research assistant for him on the project to show this delightful and unique influence of Gaelic, maybe, on the Mormon corridor English of the western United States. We'll see if he takes me up on it. Just doing one more car locking pirouette so I can put those pipes away. It's one less thing to carry. I get the honor of announcing the contest winners at Closing Mass Bands, so I'm gonna go trek back. Geez, getting that compulsion to double check the car doors here. I'm gonna trek back across the grounds one more time here to go announce the results. That'll be fun, and then head home for some Father's Day celebrations. That'll be fun. Pretty sure this is the Men of Worth here. I've been hearing them for years. They often tent up with the Wicked Tinkers. They're real good. Oh, and I see my uncle. My uncle's here. My Uncle Jeff. Hey man, are these the Men of Worth? I was thinking it was.
Where's the next man?
That's what I've been trying to figure out too. I couldn't tell if it's maybe that field, or maybe this one, or maybe all the way over there, maybe on the other side of the white building. I've been asking people, and everybody's like, "Oh, nobody's told me."
I've yet to see an outlaw drive a family.
Yeah, I'll announce it from wherever I am.
I assume you just got here.
No, I was here for the competition earlier. When I caught you there, I was walking. I'd taken my pipes back to the car.
Oh, let's do burn. Let's do burn.
Having found the field for massed bands, now I'm weighing the great responsibility I have to either pause between each announcement to allow the bands their due and well-earned cheers, or to plow through and say it all as quick as I can for sympathy for all my friends piping and drumming out there in the sun. The guilt, the massed bands, the not participating massed bands guilt is real. I'm feeling it big time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the closing ceremony of the 2024 Utah Scottish Highland Games and Festival. Have you had fun? Have you seen, if you've been the whole weekend, have you seen the Wicked Tinkers? You've seen Men of Worth? And new this year, the AML Trio, and they were really amazing. Big hand for all of our entertainment. In a moment, we'll have our closing ceremony, but I want to acknowledge someone who is on her own at the front of the pipe bands, our incredible drum major, Vivian Dearden, and the Wasatch District Pipe Band, who were our duty band this weekend. Big hand. Thank you. And thank you to all the bands. Okay, we'll now have our closing ceremony. It will involve some music, some prizes for competition, and a lot of celebration of our Scottish heritage. I am Bill Elric. I'm a native-born Scot from Aberdeen, and I am your Master of Ceremonies for this closing ceremony. We will begin with the Diane Scott Memorial Mass Pipes and Drums. Drum Major, bring on the bands. Thank you, pipe bands. Before moving on to the announcement of the winners of the competitions for the last 2 days, we'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsors, volunteers, and board members. Without whose support and hard work of the board members, you wouldn't be here today. It would not be happening. Please give a big round of applause to our sponsors, our volunteers, and our board members. Thank you. We'll now announce the winners of the piping and drumming competitions for this weekend.
All right, in sympathetic recognition of the fact that I'm standing in the shade while all the pipers and drummers are being heroes out in the hot sun, I'm going to trend on the side of quick as I read off the winners for the last 2 days, though everybody deserves a lot of applause, so I'm going to suggest we give a little whoop and clap as the winners are announced, and we'll save a real big applause for the end. For yesterday's competition, the Grade 5 Quick March Medley, 3rd place, Ben Lomond High School. 2nd place, the Utah Pipe Band, Grade 5 group. And 1st place, the Salt Lake Scots. Yesterday's Grade 4 Timed Medley, 3rd place, Red Sky Collective. 2nd place, the Wasatch District Grade 4 group. And 1st place, once again, the Salt Lake Scots. Yesterday's Grade 2 Timed Medley, Wasatch District. Oh, yeah. For the midsection percussion competition, we had 3rd place, Wasatch District's Grade 5 group. 2nd place, the Salt Lake Scots Grade 4 group. And 1st place for the midsection competition was the Wasatch District Grade 2. Today's Grade 5 MSM competition, 3rd place, the Salt Lake Scots. 2nd place, the USU Scotsmen. And 1st place, Ben Lomond High School. Great job. Today's Grade 4 MSR competition, 3rd place, Utah Pipe Band. 2nd place, Wasatch District. And 1st place, the Salt Lake Scots. And in both today's Grade 2 MSR and medley competition, Wasatch District. That's everybody, so cheer a whole bunch. Everybody cheer and whoop.
Picture of that so that I can post it to
Oh,
your
yeah.
social later?
Absolutely. Here, you want me to put it in right
Yeah,
here?
that would be great.
Here is, in chronological order,
At this time,
yesterday's.
we would like to take a moment to remember
drumming
those who
competition.
have passed on since our
And
last
this is
festival.
today's.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet.
If you know the words, please sing along as the mass bands play Amazing Grace.
We got Ross Morrill here at the front playing the solo.
wander around to the other side of the field to catch the bands on the countermarch, maybe. See if that's fun to hear. I think, doing a quick count, I think we got about 60 pipers here right now. Harder to count the drummers, of course, because of the less regular ranks and files, but you know, if we've got about 60 pipers, I don't know, what would that be? Maybe average out to 40 or so drummers probably. So sounds pretty good for a group of 100 plus instruments, huh?
This will conclude the announcement of winners for this festival and the closing ceremony for the weekend. The bands will now depart with the best known pipe tune of all, Scotland the Brave.
Thank you. Thanks.
Dude, so good seeing you around again.
You too. Really great to see you. Do another small pipe gathering soon, maybe, huh? Motivated, especially now after we've all been charged up by Barry Shears.
Barry Shears to, or what do you call it?
That's the best announcements I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was,
Thank you.
that was quite pleasant, actually.
Hopefully have a sympathetic person to it. I know why this sucks.
You feel really good about it.
See you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that does it. That's the end. You're gonna listen to a Barry Shears tune from the album, the CD that comes with that legacy book, and plug that book. You can get a physical copy. It comes with a CD, so that's cool. And that is, unless I've already faded the episode out by now. Maybe that's the way it'll go. Who knows? So on to the next challenge, which is editing this monster. We shall see.